Speaking of James Bond and Disney, first of all, what was your role and what were you doing on those movies more specifically? Let's start with James Bond.
Yeah, sure. That was an amazing. I was working in Mexico City as a recording engineer in the studio of Sony Music Mexico. That was pretty much was the only studio of Sony like active in the world in that moment. So I got the chance of working with a lot of amazing projects, and one specific was that I pretty much I didn't knew that thing was coming pretty much that week. I didn't know. So my boss in that moment told me, "Hey, you're gonna work for something pretty cool," but they didn't tell me. So when I got to the studio, I started pretty much leaving everything ready for the studio client to just arrive. And when they arrived, it was Thomas Newman, and I was like very surprised. I was like, "Oh my God, this guy is just huge. It's famous. He has done Gladiator. He made a lot of movies from Pixar. He did American Beauty. He made amazing movies in the past for composing and for score." So I was like and when they told me, "Hey, we're gonna start creating all the recording of the percussion with the band of Veracruz called Tambuco for the movie of James Bond." However, you cannot say anything. We needed to sign something specifically to just not say anything about the movie like in 1 year and a half. So we pretty much recorded like 1 week, like 3 or 4 days, specifically full days of recording all the percussion for the intro of the movie. So it was amazing because it was a huge amount of percussion, and just being there and being present and being pretty much arranging everything, putting the mics, assembling the NIF console, putting everything together, connecting all the things, obviously working with his team. So it was amazing, and pretty much it was always about recording. Pretty much my career has been focused about recording and editing and mixing, pretty much. But that was a huge deal for me. And eventually later on, I saw the movie, and it was just obvious, blasting, obviously. But yeah, that was the way to work with them. And as well, later on in Colombia, I got the chance of working in a Disney animation movie called Encanto. That also was an amazing movie that changed completely also my life. I didn't expect that career. Pretty much there was 2 sessions working with Germaine Franco. So it was great. It was an amazing experience.
When you're working on a project
That's of that.
that scale, is your approach different compared to working on smaller scale? If you're working on advertisement,
Something more contained. Or is the job basically the same?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that you would say that maybe you have to work differently for different clients, specifically because of the roles or because of the history or whatever. But no, I would say that I always had the same mentality of working with the same artist, with every people the same way. Like that was mainly my job as a recording engineer in a studio with amazing, talented people that always came in and out.
and on that,
Not really all that, but
what's the main difference between working as an engineer for movies versus for music?
Yeah, eventually at the same time was focusing always in music, but the process, I would say, it's different. In the movies, they're a little bit more strict for different timings and for different decisions, especially like for 007 or for a Disney animation movies. So those kind of stuff, they're big challenges. Eventually, the decisions and everything are more critical and they're more controlled, that you cannot do so much stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to be very, very careful with what you're doing. So I think I think it's a little bit different, because for an album, for an artist that comes into the studio and say, "Hey, we're gonna record an album," you have more flexibility because you start working with side by side with the artist, and so you have to go just flowing around with what he wants eventually in that moment.
You've been nominated for 33 Grammys, right? And you've won 8, which is quite remarkable. I'm just thinking, if I saw Musiversal and I'm kind of in the beginning stage of my music and recording career, it might look a little intimidating. Like, wow, this guy has done so much and is so incredible. This is not for me. But Musiversal is for everyone. What would you say to someone in that position? Like, this is absolutely okay. You're a professional, you work with what you have. Is anything you would say to calm them down and let them know that this is for everyone?
It's the time to create music in amazing ways. So don't limit yourself, and eventually take advantage of this amazing opportunities like Musiversal, because there's no more like this. And that's the mission for myself, like for all people. It doesn't matter if you're famous, if you're not famous, if it's your first session or you already have like 200 sessions out. It doesn't matter. We always start from zero, but with that mentality. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I love to brag about my Grammys or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's what you can really put in that moment with the person and make a difference. So it's like, take advantage of that, because eventually those decisions of quality are gonna change completely your music. And that's the way to do it eventually, to start thinking about quality, because everything stacks up. And that's the way that the music really impacts the world later on.